before I had to leave, I kind of broke the cardinal rule by starting a second band. But at the same time, that band practiced in the same rehearsal space, so I wasn't going to have to drive across town to get to a new spot. It practiced on a different day, and a lot of times, if we had a show, the few shows that we had, we usually kind of piggybacked, and I would do double duty. I would play with the first band, we'd have another band in between, and then I'd play with my main band at the end. So it didn't really hurt too badly as far as where I was coming from. Although I can see how something like that can, depending on if they're the same thing, if they're similar, then there's not a whole lot of bleed over. But if they're different bands, it's almost tempting to bring ideas from one to the other and vice versa, and kind of muddy the waters a little bit. And that's where some problems might come in.
Yeah, and I think it feels like if you're the one doing it, you know that you can separate, and you know not to cross those lines. But if you're a bandmate and hears that one of your guys is putting their attention elsewhere as well, it does feel like cheating. It feels like a deception. So it is understandable. And I really think that it's so rare that someone has to be very prolific. They have to be writing things that they really are passionate about that may not necessarily work with their original project that they want to work on elsewhere. And if all they're doing is music, then I think it's probably okay to branch out and do a side project here or there. What's the guy from Death Cab who did Postal Service at the same time?
Oh, the name's going to probably completely escape me, but yeah.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We know who we're talking about. When you listen to Postal Service, you think, oh yeah, not quite right for Death Cab. So, and now we get to hear all of those tunes. So that's really good. But I think that it's slim pickings, because you really should be 110% for the project that you want to get heard, that you need people to listen to.
See, that's a big thing here in St. Louis. Is you got so many artists like you guys know how pop punk is a real big thing right now. Bands like the Wonder Years, Story So Far, Youth and Glory's coming back, Good Charlotte, Fall Out Boy, all those bands are coming back, and besides Fall Out Boy, they're writing pop music, which sucks. But either way, we got all these young artists that are starting pop punk bands, and they're doing it for namesake. And there's some good bands from here in St. Louis that are pop punk. There's some bands that shouldn't be playing pop punk at all, or even touching an instrument. That's being asked, but it's like that. But my wife yelled at me from the back bedroom. She heard me talking about Fall Out Boy, and I was talking shit on him. Anyway, but to join a band to get popular, or just to act like you're cool because you're in a band that's trendy, it's disheartening. Like, if I go to a show and I'm going to go see, say, Good Charlotte comes to town, and 3 local bands are opening for them, and they're talking, oh yeah, man, we sound like the Wonder Years and Fall Out Boy and Simple Plan all mixed together. Cool, I'm looking forward to your set. You go on stage and you're playing something that's not even pop punk or even what you described. I'm like, you're just doing this because you want to be cool. It's cool to be a musician. There's a lot of things that we get to do that maybe not everyone else gets to do. You know, like having backstage passes. Not a lot goes on backstage, at least in the backstage experiences that I've had, besides people drinking, some people off in the corner doing drugs, some guy is over in a corner half naked with a girl who's completely naked. You're just like, I didn't really want to see that, but okay.
Mm.
Yeah, that's if you're lucky.
That's kind of the experience anytime that we used to open a show for Mushroom Head.
That's Mushroom Head, though.
Yeah, they're the local boys done good kind of out our ways.
So like a lot of times it's just people hanging out, and you know they're tired from the road, or they're focused on the show. Like it's not that same old story. It's a lot of times it's just people that are going to work. And there's nothing exciting about hanging out in the locker room. You want to watch the game.
Exactly. You know, the thing, too, with that, like I was hearing to say, if you're not playing music that you have created from your own heart and your own soul, and put all of you have into every song, you're not going to write music that's entertaining. That's the thing I've had with every band I've been in. You know, I've had members of bands, you know, they join just for the namesake. Like, they're good artists, but it's not what they should be playing. It's not, you know, the way they feel. Music to me is all about feeling, and it's all about emotion. If I'm going to write something heavy and aggressive, you know, I can take it to Jeff, and we can write something heavy and aggressive together. If I want to write something that's more melodic and grungy, I can take it to Maximus. If I want to write something just for my own fun, I can do that. You know, I'm a versatile guitar player, but at the same time, you know, I got my constraints to where I want to keep my sound and where I want to keep my personal sound.
That's the other thing too. Like,
yeah,
I agree. Well, like,
I would agree with you, man. Like it's like that sound, that tone, it's an extension of your own voice. Like it is how you express yourself. So like someone coming and asking you to flip a switch and do something completely different. It's like, well, I can do it, but I don't want to. That's not me.
Right. You know, and that's the big thing out here too. I got some really good friends that are in a Christian metal band out here. And personally, I do like Christian metal. And I'm not saying this to be off-putting, but me as myself, I'm very much an atheist. And when they asked me to play guitar for them, I told them straight up, I was like, I don't want to do that because how's it going to make you guys look? Having an atheist in your band when you're promoting, you know, a Christian lifestyle. Yep. I can't sit there and bullface lie to your fans and be like, yeah, man, like I go to church every Sunday and do this and whatnot. I don't do that. Yeah. It's like me putting out a song saying, it's like me writing a reggae song. I don't do drugs. I drink maybe a little bit here and there when I'm out with the band. Yeah, I drink more than I should, but I'm not going to write a Bob Marley style song or a Sublime style song because I don't do that.
And that kind of brings up a bit of news, actually. Relatively recently, in the last couple of years, there was a band that had been firmly billed as a Christian metal band that made big news in the metal world for, like, half their members came out and said, no, we're atheist. We don't do that kind of thing anymore. And like, some people were like, I don't care. It was good music anyway. And then the other people were just like, that's awful. That's terrible. You guys are but you know.
Yeah. Then you get to see where their popularity actually lies, because if you're into them because they're Christian hardcore and you're a Christian and there's no other reason, then of course you're going to get angry. It's the people who say, hey, you know what though? I kind of dug that tune, so I mean, I guess whatever. Those to me, that seem like also as an atheist, I guess I don't know. I don't care. it's that dishonesty. It's kind of the reverse reaction. It's like, oh, it's their dishonesty of their like of the group that makes me sad.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You know, and Timbaland Beast is from As I Lay Dying. He was a very big example of that whenever he got arrested.
Yeah.
You know, with As I Lay Dying, you know, them being an up-and-coming Christian metal band, they won a lot of hearts of people. And when Tim came out after he got arrested saying, he's like, well, I've been a Christian for the past 3 or 4 albums. I was just writing
that's
the Christian
that's
metal
who I was
thing just to get more
about, actually,
popularity
now that I
and
think
sell
about it.
records.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, they lost a lot of their fans. And it sucks because As I Lay Dying, to me, like, even being an atheist, I still love that band because they were heavy, they were aggressive, and Tim was a badass on vocals. You got bands like Demon Hunter, they don't care who comes to their show. You can walk into their show looking like Behemoth, and they're still going to come over and hang out with you and talk to you. And,
That's cool.
yeah, you know, that's the thing about Christian bands. I don't care who the person is. I don't care what they believe in, what color their skin is, whether they're gay, bi, trans, straight, whatever they are. I don't care because we're human beings. And
Right.
if you're happy doing what you're doing, be happy with what you're doing. Just don't tell me how I need to live my life.
Right.
Amen, man.
Hell, I mean, heck, I'm pagan, so you know.
You know, and that's how Ryan's girlfriend from Arkansas. I think she's into the whole pagan stuff.
Yeah.
She's one of the coolest people I've ever met. You know, that whole band, like I keep saying. So I love
Yeah.
those people.
I love them too. I mean, I they were great guys, bunch of guys.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Okay.
the thing that blows my mind, all those guys besides Jeff, they're all like 17, 18 years old. And they're so skilled. Like, it
Oh,
blows
yeah.
my mind just how good musicians these guys are.
Yeah, it's very awesome.
Wow, geez, that young. That's astounding.
Yeah. Like,
Okay,
they cut their EP when they were 16 years old, and Ryan just progressively gets better and better as a vocalist and a guitar player. You know,
Wow.
Stacy, I mean, watching him on stage, I went to their first show back from like a long hiatus, and they put Stacy way in the back. When he came out, you didn't even realize he was coming out until it was already up his face. Like they know what they're doing, and I'm so proud of those guys.
Yeah, they're amazing bunch of guys. I'm very amazing. I'm very happy to have them on the air too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a good show.
But going back to like the humanist thing here with musicians, like you get like today I went to Warped Tour, and one of my favorite bands, Ice Nine Kills, was playing. Their singer got off the stage. You know, I don't approach band members because I know how it's been up stage. You want to be left alone for a couple minutes, cool down, get back to reality, get off the adrenaline rush. Waited around for a little bit. Well, he finally came over, and he just brushed everybody off to the side. Well, I come to find out later he had some things that were going on in his personal life, and I'm like, okay, well, I can understand that.
Right.
And then I went through like a really hard time through about 3 or 4 years ago, and a couple Morale dropped an album that like literally like it changed my whole outlook on life and people, and my whole outlook on my personal self. That I actually stopped the lead singer. He was like walking his bike over like one of the other stages against like New family. I stopped him like, hey, I know you're in a rush. I just want to say like the No Hope album like literally changed my whole outlook. It literally saved my life. And he stopped and talked to me for a good 5-10 minutes, and he gave me a hug. Like I was like shaking so much, I was so excited to meet him. And I just wanted to thank him for writing lyrics that really spoke to me and really grasped me. And it was really in that moment, you know, after a decade of being a musician, it really solidified even more. Like I want to write music that's going to make people feel better, no matter who they are, what they do, color of their skin, their gender, their sexual orientation. I don't care. I want to write music that makes people feel better about themselves.
Yeah. Right on,
Cool.
man. Oh, what, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So, Shells and I talked a little while back about how we had some really tough times. We both had some like real bad medical stuff happen.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Amen. So, You said you went through